Meow is still the world's first 24-hour, 7 days a week online video networking platform, if that's not too big a mouthful. Essentially what that means is we bring people together in rooms online to have a conversation about whatever they want to talk about. And the important thing about Meow is we do it in rooms of 4. Because if you've ever been on a Zoom call, and maybe after the last question answered, you're thinking, oh God, no, not more video calls. Meow is there not to have a meeting, but have a conversation. And we bring you together in rooms of no more than 4, because that is the right number to be able to participate, to pull back, but you can never dominate or you can never hide. So you would engage the whole time, you get to know the people in the room. So that's what we do, and we're just about to change the way that we do it in terms of bringing bigger and more varied communities into the platform, and actually spreading our wings genuinely global in a way that we've always wanted to, but never quite managed before. That should be starting to happen as the year draws to a close. I think the simple answer to that is blind panic. When the world was sent to COVID prison in March 2020, my business disappeared. I was a portfolio sales director. I had a wonderful business that was really going well that year, but of course everyone sent their sales teams home. Sales became a dirty word. Even those businesses that really should have carried on, and we had some stuff where we were making some quite hard decisions. Those companies were like, no, we can't do anything, and let's just close everything down. It's like, right, fine, well, there goes my business. And so we were, both Simon and I, my business partner and I, were big networkers always, and all our work used to come from networking. And so if you've ever been into a networking event that happened in the early days of COVID, you'll know that 60 people in a Zoom room is not the way to do it. So we decided that we needed to do something better, something bigger, something different, and actually let people talk to each other, which is where Meow came from, which is where the format came from. And yeah, that was the way we did it. I think there's a whole number of reasons for that. But I said it before in another interview in print somewhere, and it sort of struck a chord, is that help in Leeds is never further away than a terrified scream. And what I mean by that is the community is really close, the city is lovely and compact, which means everyone knows each other, everyone is available, everyone's on hand, and you can go and find people and say, help me, or I need this, or what did you think of that, or just can I have some advice? And that thing about Leeds, I think, is different from anywhere else. Yeah, you've got pockets of it in London, you've got stuff in Manchester, but Manchester by its nature is very spread out. Leeds is really tight, it's really close, and I think our community is really tight and really close. And I think that, above everything else, is the reason why starting a tech company in Leeds is a bloody good idea. Our format in itself was really innovative, and I believe continues to be so, because no one else is really tapping into the power of small group meetings. But one of the things we're doing at the moment, which is really exciting, is we're working with another Leeds startup in the AGI, the artificial general intelligence space, working with an unproven bit of technology to try and deliver a commercial application for that. Because if we have what we think we have, and again, we'll never prove that until we do it, we've got something really exciting there. So, AI is the big buzzword at the moment. We hope we're one step ahead. So watch this space. There's a really big one happening in Meow at the moment. We have been for the last 6 or 8 months, actually more than that now, time goes so fast. For the last 9 months, we've been bringing communities into the platform and getting them all ready for relaunching our space in September. So actually, we're going live with a communities-only beta in August. So what that means is essentially, rather than going out and looking for individual users, we've been going after communities, being after big lumps of people. And so we've got now a potential user base of over 750,000 users from various different communities, ready to come and talk to other members of their communities in the platform. And that's the big new direction for Meow at the moment, is we're bringing big lumps of people in to talk within their communities, and hopefully then that will mushroom out into the platform. They do different things, meet different people, and the whole thing about meeting new people all the time starts to get closer to for us to be able to deliver that on a consistent basis. So. Personally, I think it's huge. I think if we continue to do what we've always done, we'll continue to get what we always got. I think innovative businesses need to be there to push that envelope, to find new solutions, to find more efficiencies, to find better and bigger and faster ways of doing things. I also think at the moment there's a bit of a flip side about people who are very, very aware of what a lot of the media are painting as a threat from AI. And I don't necessarily see AI as a threat. I see AI as an opportunity, as a way for people to be able to do the things that people do better. You ask anyone that does a creative job or a job that involves building relationships or things like that, what holds them back from doing their job better? And it's all the stuff that they shouldn't be doing in the first place. It's the grunt work, it's the admin, it's the stuff that we can potentially start to delegate out to machines, for want of a better word. And I think what that does is frees up people's minds to do the good stuff and actually drive further innovation, drive better ways of working, drive better productivity. But I think AI can't do what people do. It's as simple as that. And whether that goes from the absolute, the more sort of service, janitorial, custodial jobs. At the moment, AI can't replace those people, nor should it. And going right the way through up to running businesses and things, you can't do it because at the core of all that is actually either touching stuff or doing stuff or working with people and finding out motivations, and AI can't do that. So I think innovation exists to allow people to do more. It's as simple as that. And that's why I think innovative businesses have a real place to inhabit in the growing of the economy. Do it is the simple answer. If you are in any way thinking about doing it and you genuinely have an idea that you think is good, and it's really important that you've got a good idea, and not just a good idea, but one that you can execute and turn into a business, I would say do it. Don't hold back, do it. If I can just use a slightly risque terminology that Simon and I use, is that essentially we are two middle-aged dickheads who started a tech company simply because nobody told us we shouldn't. All right, because the image is that you've got to be 22 and a computer programmer and you've got to be a whiz kid at this, that, and the other. It's not true. You have to have a good idea and then you have to be able to turn that into a business. And that's the important thing, is great ideas are one thing, good businesses are another, and what happens when you bring a really good idea and mate it together with a really good business plan, then you get some really good, interesting stuff. So I would say go do it. And if you want to do it in Leeds, so much the better, because there's so much help out there. So go find some founders, go and ask them what they did, go and ask them what they did wrong, go and ask them what you should do. Go and find these people because they will all talk to you. I think we're going to look at the city first. I think there's no doubt now that Leeds Digital Festival is a major European, if not global, operation. The sheer scale of it, the sheer quality of people that were attracted to either come and speak or come and attend last year was phenomenal. We've been really happy to be associated with it. I think it does wonders for putting the Leeds tech community on the map. And actually, we had a couple of interesting comments from some of our investors, because in the early day, all our investment was from London. And actually, we've got some really enlightened investors who understand there is life north of the M25. But we're talking to a lot of people going, it's just mills and sheep, and I'm not joking. And I'm like, no, this is what's going on. And we sent them a Leeds Digital Festival itinerary, and they were like, wow, okay, right, this is maybe something that we need to look at a bit more closely. So I think from that perspective, it's done the city a power of good, and Stuart and the rest of the board should be really, really pleased and proud of the impact that they've had. I think we can go bigger. I think there's ways we can do that. But I think we've come a huge way so far. And in terms of my career, I think essentially it's opened my eyes to all sorts of different opportunities, opened my eyes to different ways of doing stuff. and put me in touch with people who I'd never would have met before. And if you know me at all, I'm all about people and my relationships with people and how I can help them, how they can help me, how we can all, bring each other up together. So having access to those people through the festival, phenomenal. Leeds Digital, as opposed to Leeds Digital Festival, I think is a really, really, really valuable development. Back when Meow got involved with Leeds Digital Festival as a sponsor, so 2022, we were endeavouring to deliver an always-on piece for Leeds Digital Festival that went around the calendar. We couldn't actually do that straight away. We can now, and you'll start to see that as the festival comes a bit closer, where you will have Leeds Digital networking events throughout the time. But what Leeds Digital does is gives not just the festival, but gives everybody running tech events in Leeds, and let's face it, there are lots of them, an opportunity to put them all in one spot, and starts to bring that sort of community together in a way that doesn't rely on the festival. So I really like it. My whole shtick at the moment is giving communities a place to be all the time. And so this doesn't do what we do. This just gives an opportunity to keep the agenda going and all the rest of it. But I think it's really, really useful because it's never happened before. So even if it only ever turns into a sort of time out for tech events in Leeds, then it's done its job as far as I'm concerned. The biggest influence on my working life was my former boss at Randstad, back when I worked in recruitment. A wonderful woman called Victoria Short, who is now absolutely deservedly the UK CEO of Randstad. And I was a young manager when I started working for Victoria, and she basically schooled me, for want of a better word, in how to manage both empathetically and with some steel. And it was a set of lessons and a continued bit of development that stood me in hugely good stead as I moved on from that. Because I think if you are in any sort of a management role, it's not about your technical ability, it's about how you encourage people to do the things you need them to do. And she was absolutely instrumental in making me what I hope is a reasonably good people manager right now. So yeah, thanks, Victoria. Well, there's two sides to this argument, I suppose. I think levelling up, if it ever really existed, is phenomenally important. I think the awareness, more than anything else, that there is life outside London is something that has to be continually reinforced as far as I'm concerned. Because there is life outside of London. Leeds has an immensely strong new business, vibrant new business scene, whether it be tech or anything else. There are new businesses starting all the time, doing great things, and that's really important. But we're a major metropolitan centre, same as Manchester. And I think even the most blinkered London financier or Politico or whatever else understands that Leeds and Manchester have something to offer. But I honestly believe that levelling up outside of those places is a bloody sham. It was a piece of window dressing designed to deliver exactly what it did, which was red wall seats for the Conservatives in the last election. And as soon as the ink was dry on the ballot paper, that support disappeared. And levelling up is a wonderful term. I'd love to know what it actually means. But you look at something like Sheffield at the moment that's just been made into a UK investment zone, and then you actually look at the numbers and it's £80 million, which is nothing. It's a joke, it's a piece of window dressing, it's garnish. And until there's a fundamental shift in the way that we view economic development in this country, and it cannot always be London first, and I would argue it shouldn't be London first, then levelling up is just going to be that consistently is a bloody sham, sadly. And it is sadly. It makes me, desperately sad. Sorry, I've just smacked my microphone. It makes me sad, but there we go.